Good morning, this is Sharon from Everything Beautiful. So yesterday I did a pattern. I did a tutorial on how to do color application. Now today I want to show you, if you want a bigger break, what you need to do to ensure that you get that bigger break. Because what I did yesterday was just like a shirt blouse. Now this is going to be more like a jacket where you have a bigger break. So I cut a freehand here. Yesterday I did a freehand blouse, how to cut a freehand blouse just like this without pattern. But I accidentally deleted the video, and so I will have to do it all over again. So here we have the back of the blouse and we have the front. Now if you notice here, this is the allowance for the buttons. All right, so here is the allowance for the buttons, and that can be 1 inch, 1.5 inch, maybe 2 inches. It all depends. And I've cut the back neckline here, and for an ordinary break like the one I did yesterday, I would just use the back, which is this, to cut the front. And I've already marked it, and then I will just cut it. Okay. I will also take 1/2 inch off the top of the front of the blouse, because sometimes the blouse tends to want to go backwards, so I took 1/2 inch off. So this is it. To do an ordinary blouse or an ordinary jacket with a small break, this is what you would do. So you would join the shoulders, join the side, add the color, and apply your buttons. But we want to go beyond that. We want a bigger break. And first I should say, if your fabric is wide enough for your measurement that you're using, you just need to double the fabric in 4 so you can cut the back and the front together. Okay, so because I need a bigger break, I left extra fabric here. I also put the facing underneath, because when you cut this, you're going to need extra facing, extra material under there for the facing. For the one yesterday, we just fold over the 3 or 3.5 inches and cut that. But when you're doing a jacket, a real jacket, the facing has to be cut different, because the break itself is going to be wider. Now I'm considering that this is my waistline. Okay, so this is my waistline. So I got to decide now how far or how deep I want my break to be, or it's called a decollete also. All right, so to extend my break here, what I'll do, I'll go a little deeper. So I will come down here. I'll go a little deeper. And from the waist here, you don't have to come that deep. What I will do, I will use my ruler. You can also do it freehand. Okay, and I will cut it, and I will shape it according to where I mark it. You can also make this a little bit roundish. So this is what I'm going to do if I want something, you know, can make it a little bit round there. So this is the extension that will give me a bigger break. So this is what you'll have to do. You have to ensure that you have an extra piece of fabric connected to here, where the seam would be, where the buttonhole would be. You just extend the fabric a little wider, and that is how you can get your break. And you can come even wider if you want. Okay, say for instance you want the break to start falling here, you could come like this and come like that. All right, so I'll cut it now and let you see. I'm also going to add some allowance in this. So I'm not going to cut it in the line, because when you stitch the seam, you're going to need that allowance. So I'm also going to cut some allowance in here. All right, so always remember your 1/2 inch allowance. And as I said before, the fabric is 4. I put the facing with it. You don't have to put the facing with it. You can actually cut the blouse itself, and when you're through, you just place the facing on it and shape the facing according to the blouse. So let me cut with that little extra allowance of 1/2 inch. And I'll kind of make it a little bit roundish, not as straight as I'd marked it and cut here. So this is my center back and this is my center front. So this is what it's looking like. I've opened it up and I've placed the back on to or the front onto the back, and if you notice the break is wider, it also carries a curve. So when you're putting on your color, you're going to do the same thing that I showed you in the video yesterday and decide where you want your color to stop. Okay, so say for instance we would stop the color there. So this is how wide the break would be. You see the difference with the one yesterday? You see we have a broader break, and of course, you know, this is where our buttons will be, the center of our buttons. So this is what it's going to be looking like, and very beautiful when you put your color on. Another thing is that when you do that, if you notice the facing is very wide, you don't want the facing to be wide down here. So next step would be to trim the facing narrow down here. So this is what you do. You just shave it off like that. All right. So you don't need all the bulk in the front here. Okay, so this is the allowance for the buttons and this, and that is how you will shape it up. So this is Sharon from Everything Beautiful. I hope you've learned something today. Let me just